Hi, my name is Revan. I'm a developer here at SitePen, and I'm here to talk about Qt. Qt is an open source, cross platform Netflix queue management tool that you can run right from your desktop. And we built it using Dojo, the JavaScript toolkit, and Adobe Air. Now, these two systems gave us a pretty good running start. Once we had our visual designs in place, we put together the core functionality pretty quickly. Now the overall idea here is pretty simple. You link your Netflix account with Qt, as you saw me do, and then you're able immediately to browse your DVD queue. You can look in your instant queue. You can reorder things. Let's see, you can rate movies and get more detail about them. And then you can click things to get more detail, get a more detailed dialogue. Or you can simply browse through Netflix's catalog. We have a search function with a nifty little auto suggest, or you just type what you want, and then you get the list of things that are available. And again, we can look at what's here. We can add these things to our queue right from here. You can also look through the different public feeds that Netflix makes available, feeds that show what the top movies are, things that are most popular. They have some that are by genre. So you can kind of get a feel for how that works. There's also a recommendations tab, which pulls in whatever Netflix thinks you'll like. And again, this looks basically like the search results. Now you can even do most of this when you're offline too, which is pretty cool. I'll talk more about that in a minute. As I mentioned, the combination of Dojo and Air let us create some really interesting features that we'll cover in a little bit more depth right now. The first is the notification system we have. Now, unfortunately, I don't have anything coming today, so I can't actually show you the notification. But what we do here is poll the Netflix servers on a periodic basis, comparing what we have in our at-home queue with what Netflix reports. And if it changes, we're able to pop up a little notification window to say that something has arrived or shipped or whatever. We've also got a pretty neat little miniature window here that shows your at-home queue. You can leave this running on your desktop or whatever if you don't want to leave the main queued window open. You can also run searches directly from here. It takes you right to the search results. So that's pretty handy to have around too. Now, one of the coolest features that we have here, and probably the single biggest piece of functionality in the whole application, at least as far as the amount of effort that we put into getting it to work right, was the offline mode. Now what we have is we've got two different versions of the internal service that we created to talk to the Netflix API. We've got one version, the online version, that talks directly to the API itself for all the different actions you do. And then we have the offline mode, which saves up requests in a transaction queue for later. We've got a simple little property accessor function that we use on an object internally, and so it does the switching for us transparently in the background. Based on a network service monitor that's also running in the background. So when you're online, the internal service does everything, again, directly as you're working. And it does its best to cache all the data that it gets back. So movie details, your ratings, things like that. Even search results, even the box art from the DVDs. Now all of this gets saved locally to disk in an encrypted database, or in the case of the box art, just goes right onto your file system. So that makes a pretty smooth transition when you go offline. When you go offline, you get this little notification here. And what it tells you is basically you're in offline mode, and everything that happens is going to get queued up and replayed back when you're back online. So you can still do things like reorder the queue. We'll do that. And then when you go back online, the little monitor detects that you're back online, and you get this dialog here that lets you either synchronize the changes you've made or throw them away. Here, I'll synchronize what I've got. And now I'm back online and good to go. All in all, we think this is a pretty nice application. Since we at SitePen are in the business of creating web applications, our team felt right at home working in the Air environment, especially with Dojo as our tool set. It's just like doing regular browser-oriented development, but with a bigger sandbox. You've got the addition of local storage, the database engine, offline, all these other kind of desktop features that really made for a nice environment. And we only had to worry about targeting one browser engine, but saved us a lot of time. In fact, the developers on this team in particular were all either Mac or Windows users, but we gave Qt to one of our Linux guys, and as soon as he had Air up and running, this worked right out of the box, which is pretty nice to see. The main point is Dojo and Air gave us a really solid platform to work with. We've got all the tools in Dojo at our disposal: animation, event handling, drag and drop, layouts, predefined interface widgets. All of that was a really solid framework to build on, and so we could put things together quickly with a high level of polish. And since Air gave us the ability to store data locally and to work offline, we could create a pretty seamless experience overall. So thanks for watching. We hope you'll give Qt a try. As I mentioned, this is a completely open source application. It's hosted out on Google Code, so if you're inclined, feel free to check that out. If you'd like to learn more about Dojo, you can visit us at dojotoolkit.org. For Air, of course, that's over at adobe.com. And for us, you can visit us at SitePen.com. We build web apps, provide Dojo support, the full spectrum of web development. So that does it. Thanks again.